Farscape Engineers Inspector Summary Video. We're here in Newport, and what we have here is a Farscape that there's a cantilever down here, fairly new cantilevered system, all new treads. I think it's original railings and C-channels on it, but the treads are all fairly brand new, with some evidence of rust starting to grow on them, but from below. But otherwise, it's got all new hardware, hex head bolts. This is all hex head bolts over here. The only thing is, once you start from here, on the older part of the Farscape, they didn't even bother to change out the rust on this, so you have a lot of major rust. So at this time, this Farscape does not pass the confidence test, cannot be certified, and it cannot be load tested at this time. And we cannot offer an opinion affidavit at this time because we've got some defects that we'll discuss. So we've got a release arm here. This release arm, once I release it, it does not drop by itself 2 to 3 feet per second to hit the ground. What it does is, as soon as you step on a little bit of it, it already starts dropping. So she's pretty well balanced. She just needs to have an additional 25 pounds on the nose so that when you do release it, by the time you get to the pivot point, she will drop and hit the ground and stay down, okay? So it looks like there was some evidence of a damage from the previous activity. That's why this release arm looks bent. We do need some sort of ring or chain here so that people can't, move it from down below, but something similar to this so that, whenever you're ready, nobody can tamper from below. You go like this, you can just use it right away. Single action requiring no special knowledge. I did get evidence inside that some of these supports and the plates are on the inside. I got photographs of that. But I do have evidence that all these connections are original hardware. So original square head bolts with some ice jacking happening behind there. original hardware and some rust jacking happening a little bit on that one, but not as much as some of the other gussets as we go up, and we'll see. We do have evidence of rust buildup in the gratings up against the wall. I've got evidence right up against that wall, primarily in this area here, where some of the plates that they use as spacers sometimes start rusting out and cause ice jacking or rust jacking. So those need to be identified, cleaned, and then we need to stop to make sure that debris like this twig doesn't get in there, start building up, and that's what's going to start creating a sponge. All these spacers, as you can see, some of the spacers are already gone. So this is what you have to worry about. Now, this grating does have some more life. You have to close up any little hole so that nobody has a trip hazard of any kind, but you can basically create a sandwich, because as these things start giving out now, and they open up, it'll trap some people's feet, but if you put a piece of flat underneath, a piece of flat on top, and you sandwich it, you can basically get another 5 to 10 years more out of these gratings. On that other side there, which I've showed in the photographs, we do have gussets, and we do have bolts that are gone. There's ½ inch to 3/4 rust buildup on that side. As I climb up, I'll show. All these treads right now we've got major rust buildup on all the treads. A lot of the top bolts are gone. Every single one of these top bolts is gone, and we already got rust on the tread here that is ½ inch to 3/4. So these treads, under stress, under an emergency evacuation, will let go. It'll minimally cause some trip hazards. Some people will get hurt. All your clips filled with rust. And even this one, as you can see, the bolt is in the back. If you put your hand on the back side, you can feel the bolt, but yet the shaft is gone and the nut is gone, meaning the rust is already eaten. So the whole stair down below is not being held, so should it let go, the stair will just slide down and create a chop. A lot of these treads, because they're built the old way with the spacers, all these spacers are starting to pop. So what you're going to get is either a trip hazard where the front nose drops and people trip, or the back one pops off the back and basically making all these loose. A lot of times, because you have EPA rules now since 2010 that the lead law, you can't weld these anymore because they have a lead-based paint. You can only replace them, or you can basically create a sandwich and you can use mechanical fasteners to hold these together. But you can't weld on older fire escapes that are older than 1978. The EPA now is not only inside your building, it has come outside. So you need a renovator's license to touch this also. So EPA renovators, which most guys have, and that's just for scraping and painting. So even the scraping and painting, you must be a licensed EPA renovator, which is a common license. Most guys get it on the weekend. You're familiar with the license?
Yeah.
Okay. But I would recommend that these treads get swapped out, and that the treads that are going to come out are these kind that basically don't allow for any buildup of rust or any spacers, because that's a 1/4 inch rod every 4 inches. And these industry standard gratings now last a lot longer. And a lot of them don't have the new gratings, new treads don't have the angle clip on the side. They weld to a 1/4 inch flat bar on the outside. No snow accumulation on those either. So, and those are manufactured pieces that you just buy. So I recommend that at this time. Otherwise, whoever's going to do this work will have a disclaimer, not only on the grating, they'll have a disclaimer back to you for responsibility on the treads. Okay, so all these treads need to be rebolted 100%. We got rust in every joint, top and side, going all the way up on this fire escape. Now, there's another gusset here, all original hardware, and you can already see the rust built up inside. We've got rust building up in the back side of these over here also. I have confirmed a lot of these plates on the inside. You've got the stringer clips, they're all full of rust, as you can see there. Stringer clips are all full of rust there. A lot of rust buildup in some of the areas where, between two pieces of flat, dirt gets in there, and they did here. Created a sandwich, created a pocket. Look, it all rotted out, so we've got to get all that rot because it's eating this corner, it's eating the steel. That corner has got a clip in there, bulging, as you can see there. So its rust is built up on the inside with the angle clip, as you can see. The grating needs a paint job. It's been a while since it's been painted. We've got a situation here where this is bulging out and expanding. I've got a bolt missing already on that one down there. So this corner has emergencies, including this back clip. Original hardware, so all these need to be swapped out, otherwise we have to load test it. Can't certify without a load test. But you swap out the bolts, there is no load test. We got gussets. We got gussets. All original hardware. And I believe right there, I'm going to shoot it from here, but when you go down and look at that one, same problem. That one's gone. And the gusset down below, which is hard to see from up here, the gusset down below is full of rust also. So major rust. So it needs a recommended that it's actually 2/3 of this fire escape needs to be refurbished. You can spot repair, but then you're gonna have to load test it in order to get the assurances. Otherwise, you can spot repair and then get what's called an opinion affidavit, as long as the city official accepts it, and that there's a disclaimer letter associated with it, listing that all original hardware was neither certified nor load tested, and that was an opinion only. The fire escape does have lead, so you do have to have a renovator's license, and any and all work associated with this does need to have a permit, unless the city official declares that they don't need a permit. It falls under a maintenance and no permit is required. Again, those will be satisfied with the city official. And this is a busy street, so you got to make sure that there's an entranceway that either needs to be closed during repair so that nothing falls in, that some of these cars would have to be covered, just to make sure that none of the falling rust debris gets on these cars. Any questions, fire escape engineers? Inspect the summary video. One last thing, we did verify in the walls, all these connections, that we did verify into the building that there's plates throughout. So this was opened, that was opened down there, and this was opened over here to prove that the properly through bolted. Any questions, fire escape engineers? Inspector Meneses here, 866-649-0333, 866-649-0333.